Welcome, we just got new mechanics to improve your character's power, rate, and arsenal, and also found more things that you most likely didn't know. And yes, before you ask, we're gonna go over tuning, how to get 5 stats on a weapon, including some of the coolest tuning materials that will give you guaranteed purple affixes. Number 1, rare resources and filtering your map. Open up set map, and then on the right side, you have the plant symbol. Here, you can display 5 things permanently that you're looking for. I need coarse fur, big elk. No problem. I see every source of big elk that exists there. I'm looking for that Buddhist tier root to upgrade my mystic art. No problem. I get every source as well. Keep in mind that these resources don't respawn fast in solo mode. However, if I now teleport to the Starfall Spring and quickly murder these 3 innocent deer, or 4 that should technically be here, and then swap over to the online mode, and then teleport to the same Starfall Spring. The deer are also here, and not only are they also here, they respawn every 5 minutes, and that goes for any resource in the online mode. However, the map in the online mode is a bit shittier. If I now go for the big elks, it doesn't show me how many are supposedly going to be there, which means head back to the solo mode and figure out the density of what I'm going to gather. There's going to be 12 big elk up here, so that's where I'm going to go in the online mode over and over again. And same goes for your flowers. I know that this is a 3, 4, and a 3 deposit of Buddhist tears. And down at the bottom left, this is an 8 deposit of Buddhist tears that I love to return back to in the online mode every now and then. Before you now go out and gather, don't forget to actually eat your food. That gives you a 20% chance for extra harvest from herb gathering or hunting. That respective food can be bought over in Kaifeng, right of the city Apricot Village. To the right of the teleportation point, you can see the lady clad in white. She sells you the chrysanthemum pancakes. And if you teleport inside Kaifeng City to the fairgrounds bottom right, there's another vendor over the bridge from the teleport points into the fairground area, standing right in his shop, and he's selling you the food for fishing called ginger pork bites. There is also a food for mining. If you figured out where that one is, please post it in the comments below. I kind of lost him. And as a little heads up with food vendors, if you buy enough of their food, you'll max out their friendship and actually get yourself inner way note chests. And every single food vendor has 2 of them. Number 2, let's return back to Blissful Retreat. And in the middle of Blissful Retreat, there's supposed to be a waypoint underground that I could never figure out where it's supposed to be. The source of Still Shore. It's been driving me nuts. I finally figured out the location. Teleport yourself to the Evercare clinic and then go behind the clinic. There will be a well blocked off by roots that you have to shoot away. For this, you do have to advance the main quest far enough. It will actually take you down here. Then we're making our way past these mummy-esque dudes by shooting with our bow, the lanterns, and we obviously get shot by the fire as often as possible, because it would be boring if you don't get shot by the fire. Then we're making our way past the room and into the main room where we have to play the flute to convince everyone to go onto this pedestal and open up the door, and then you can fight the copy of your aunt here weirdly first boss fight. Afterwards, you go past this dude, and usually you would leave now the cave on the left side. However, if you turn around and jump down, you do actually get to a bonus location. Yeah, what the hell? Never knew this was actually a thing, but now we know. And then as we head forward after standing up, there will be that Still Shore waypoint that is now going to stop driving you nuts and your 100% completion. Afterwards, you can push open these 2 doors, and yes, this is where you can actually go to challenge the lady with the sizes over and over again. If you do actually teleport directly to the side, you'll stand for barred doors and can't make your way in there. So get it be this way around. Number 3, back to Blissful Retreat in case you have missed it so far. After finishing the storyline of Blissful Retreat, it won't look the same anymore. However, if you now make your way forward to the tower where the last stand has happened, in front of said tower are these broken trees, these 2. And below those trees is a blade stuck in the ground that you can actually touch and interact with. This won't take you directly here. It will take you through 1, 2, 3 levels first that you have to traverse with Cloud Step. And then you actually end up in a beautiful region that does have a lot of chests, so make sure to actually conquer this, right? You want to go into every single building and get every single chest piece. On top, that location also has the boss fight versus Ji Dao. And after defeating him, you'll unlock the back ornament that is his sword. By the way, in your appearance menu, you can, in the bottom here under more options, go on appearance visibility and then have it show your actual main hand, secondary, bow, whatever you actually would like to see or not like to see. At this point, I have more or less everything deactivated because the bow looks ugly as hell. Now off to the arsenal, the new feature under the develop menu, then gear. This is where you will store your old gear for bonuses. Right now we have the level 41 arsenal. There will be a 51, 56, 61, and so on. They will require higher points. Right now I sit at 852 out of 550 mastery. The next one is 850 out of 850. Then 1100 goes up and up. So you'll have to put better and better gear in here, because this is where I now put my old level 41 gear that actually lands in the arsenal and gives me passive boosts. In my case, min bell strike attack and max bell strike attack plus some max HP. If I now click here on switch path, I can also choose to give me stone split, more silk bind, bamboo can, or in general min max physical. However, the min max physical does actually make me weaker because I'm mostly doing my damage with the sword. My umbrella is for bonus damage, bonus bleed, bonus poison, that kind of stuff. The main damage is coming from the bell strike, and that's why putting that one up to the bell strike works the best. Now, what does this mean that you put your old gear in here? This means we'll have to always maximum tune and upgrade what we have and optimally try to get purple pieces. Right now, I do actually have 4 set pieces here, Hawken, and I have 3 set pieces here, Eagle Rise, and each of them is 4 times upgraded to give me really the maximum that comes out of it. Do keep in mind when you're now upgrading your gear that you optimally want to feed it with your old gear. The main reason being for that is that otherwise your inventory will just clog up like crazy. What you certainly never want to do is you don't want to use these tuning stones because they are for every level of gear. They're for level 51, 56, 70, and so on. These are your tuning stones for the end game gear. You can definitely use your 51 tuning stones because otherwise you'll never be able to use them. However, what you should look out for is item pieces like the Doombound Pendant. It says when used as tuning material, the next tune affix is guaranteed to be purple. Yes, boom, use that one. Same goes here, when used as tuning material, the next tune affix is guaranteed to be purple or buff. What? Yes, fire. Use these for tuning, not for wearing. This will then allow you way easier later on to make sure that your arsenal is really at the maximum value. And if you're lacking gear for tuning and to tune up, you can always go for season, then into the season shop gear chest and buy yourself these tier 51 gear chests that reset weekly. There is 10 in the first stock, and then there's 15 in the next stock. Another new feature can be found under Wandering Path. Then we're going to go for the left side challenges and we get the Hero's Realm. These you can do once per week for the rewards. And we do actually get attunement stones from this. They're important. The same attunement stones you can actually earn from the sword trials. However, in the Hero's Realm, they're guaranteed. These can be used on an epic item that has 4 stats on to slam a 5th stat on. And you can actually choose an attunement path, unlock a random enhanced skill for the Bell Strike. Yabba dabba doo. Keep in mind that you only have a limited amount of these, so don't just throw them away like crazy, unless you might need the one or the other mastery point for your arsenal, and obviously later for the end stage gear. Now, these 10-man fights are actually crazy, because they do have real rate mechanics. Versus the Donkey Saint, for example, he does summon vines around everyone that you then have to pop open. He also makes people hover, and others have then to turn into donkeys and walk below them so they don't die on landing. And lastly, he puts down portals where donkeys are running out, and you need to run in the same direction as the donkeys. Not left, right now, always in the same direction into the wall or you're going to take damage. It's a crazy fight. And after beating that one, you have a second fight. However, I recommend leaving after the first fight, then return back to the menu, and here on this wheel, right side, you can say, I want to start from beginning with matchmaking, or I want to start from boss phase 2 with a matchmaking. How do you reach this on controller? You go into the menu, and then you press your select. For me, it would be A. And then I can actually go here with Smart Assist, Group, and like pretty much choose what phase I want to go into. Same for the sword trial, by the way. You have the Formless Mountain with these 2 bosses, and you can choose to queue up start from the beginning or start from boss phase 2, depending on who you still need to first clear or who do you wish to fight. The rewards for the 10-player bosses are once per week. You can't spam them, but definitely want to do them every single week over and over again. Next one, martial arts. And I've seen a lot of worries of people saying, I don't want to ruin my character. What weapon should I shoot? Is strategic sword better than nameless sword? Heaven Quaker spear? What is it there? Keep in mind that every single martial art in the bottom right corner can be reset once per season. The martial arts custom tips, you get 100% back. Same as the Scarlet Flame ointment. Those are your breakthrough materials. However, the materials used for breakthrough will be fully refunded, while those used for upgrading will only be refunded by 80%. So you're going to be losing some coins and some pine resin ointment or whatever green material you use to then upgrade. This means don't stress. You can experiment some around. You can get them all up to a certain level, 40, 50 even, and play around with this and then get your stuff back. Sure, you'll bleed some money. However, we want to play around. We want to try out things, right? And now let's talk about the meaningless number on the right side that shows your power level, which definitely is not your power level. And I can prove it. Go into your inner ways, and I'm currently playing the 5-fold bleed. The 5-fold bleed gives me more bleed stacks, another cool bleed explosion, everything. However, if I now swap that 5-fold bleed, for example, over to the sword morph, which is a yellow rarity one for the nameless sword that I don't even need in my build. By equipping it, I get more power. Yeah, but it does nothing for my build. So the number is somewhat showing your upgrade level, because it also rises by upgrading your mystic skills, right? If I now upgrade the Soaring Spin but never use it, or if I upgrade my Lion's Roar, my Celestial Seas, it will give me more power, but that doesn't mean I do more damage, right? Because, like, I could upgrade the Meridian Touch to tier 3 and then become stronger, but I never used the Meridian Touch in a fight. Don't stress yourself about getting this as high as possible. The only reason to get it high is pretty much for your talents, because you can't keep upgrading your max physical attack or the min physical attack if you don't have reached a certain level of martial mastery. And yes, all of these will actually rise your martial mastery as well. I did start putting some points here into Affinity Raid because that bumped my martial mastery up. Having sets bumps up your martial mastery. Having your items upgraded bumps up your martial mastery as well. Everything we're doing here, everything we're getting, gets it further forward. If I have a purple item, obviously, with 4 upgrades, that will be more martial mastery than a blue item will be. But that's obvious, I think. Lastly, my favorite one. You can finish Strongholds by talking instead of fighting. If you approach a stronghold, and this does not work for they will ask, who are you? And you say, I'm the supreme card gamer. And then their leader will challenge you to a game of cards, drinking contest, archery, pitch pot, whatever. And that's how you can also beat a stronghold, and then just go through and loot all the chests without lifting a single finger in fighting. Ladies and gentlemen, any other obscure things you have found, crazy stuff that people need to know, post them in the comments below, and also watch our first 20 things you clearly did not know video, because there's even more.